Put that in your calendar, something I think you're going to want to remember that someday. All right, next comic coming to the stage is a very funny guy. I've seen him many times, love his stuff. I know you will too. Please help me welcome Billy Reno.
All right. Keep it up for Paige, your last comic. Pinocchio did. I just don't want to be left out on the Pinocchio jokes. Okay, what the hell? I'll just put this right back here. So I went and saw my therapist today, because I got some issues dealing with. I'm not embarrassed that I'm going to counseling. You know, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I was more concerned when I started because I got a weird sense of humor. You know, I like to just say things to say it. And I knew in that first session she was going to have a question like, so what do you want to get out of counseling? And my answer was going to be, I just want to stop the voices and the killings. But I couldn't do that joke because as soon as she walked in, she shut the door and said, okay, before we get started, just want you to know that what's said in here is confidential. I don't repeat it to anybody else unless I feel you're a danger to yourself or others. So when she said that, I figured I probably shouldn't lead with a murder joke. What she said next, though, made me laugh out loud because of a thought it put in my head. She said, for future sessions, if you'd like to bring in somebody with you, like a family member or loved one, you're more than welcome to. And the second she said that, my brain just went, you know, I should show up next week with a clown and a midget. I just put him into the corner, not even say anything for the hour. I have to keep regaining her focus back to me, like, stop staring at them and let's get back to my mother. She'd be confused, like, I thought the clown was your mother. Yeah, one of the reasons, though, I decided to go to counseling is because as I'm getting older, I think about some of the things I've done when I was younger, and I question whether or not I'm a decent person. You know, when I was in my mid-20s, I had to pick up my 8-year-old nephew, take him over to the grandparents' house. And on the way there, we hit the McDonald's drive-thru, and the bill came to like $13 and some change. And as I'm pulling up to the window, I pulled out my money, and I was like, great, I got $9, like to my name, that's it. I had to turn to my 8-year-old nephew, like, hey, you got $5 Uncle Billy can borrow? And you know what, he did, but he didn't want to give it to me. I could tell by the look on his face. It's as if my brother said to him right before I picked him up, all right, look, have a good time at Grandma and Grandpa's, behave yourself. Whatever you do, for the love of God, don't give Uncle Billy any money. Okay, don't put it in your front pocket, you'll see the outline, just stick it in your sock. He didn't want to give it to me, but you know what, he wanted to eat, so he had no choice. Now this same nephew's actually graduating from college this summer, and he's got a job lined up with Boeing, and they're going to pay for him to go get his master's degree. And now it doesn't bother me that he's on a good road for some comfort and stability, as long as he doesn't Reno it. What bothers me, and what makes me question myself as a decent human being, is the fact that I still owe him that $5. And I never paid the kid back. What kind of piece of crap doesn't pay back an 8-year-old $5? It's almost acceptable if I had a drug habit or a gambling problem, but that's not the case. I'm just a douchebag. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to pay him back now, though, because he's going to work for Boeing. And I had to move back in with my parents. I did actually, a couple of months ago, just move back with my parents because, you know, as I'm pursuing my dream of doing comedy, while we pay our dues, we don't make a lot of money. But my parents are great, you know, they're very supportive. In fact, just this afternoon, I was in the living room and I was rehearsing my material. And wait till she hears the punchline. This afternoon, I was in the living room rehearsing my material, and my dad walked in and looked at me and said, what a fucking joke. No, it was touching. It was. That's like one of the few compliments the old man's ever given me. I don't know, I gotta grow up though. I do, because I'm already 43 years old and I've never married or had kids. I tried to adopt once, but adoption agencies, they tend to freak out when you request a 17-year-old Asian girl. And it's tough to meet women at this age to get married to. You know, it's not that I'm not trying to do things to meet women. A while back, I signed up for a singles cruise. But then when I got down there, they just put me in a rowboat by myself and pushed me out to sea. I went on a date with a stripper once. Well, for like 4 songs. Maybe 5. I don't know, dating is scary now. Anyone that's single can attest to that. It's kind of a scary world, dating now. I was getting desperate too, man. I was at the point when I'd go out on dates, I'd roofie my own drink. I had to quit that when I woke up next to Cosby. Oh, hey, I don't like telling that joke to anyone who like hearing it, all right? Hey, he's a famous person. He's fair game. That's the rule. Speaking of other famous people, we have any Cher fans here tonight? All right, good. You'll get pissed off at this one, too. Yeah, I saw Cher in an interview a while back. I don't know if it's me or she's slowly morphing into the character that played her son in the movie Mask. Tell the doctor to lay off the injections. What about the Pope? He's a famous person. Right? I like this Pope. He's a little progressive. You might not remember this. It was a while ago. He made some news right before Christmas. He was in a tiny village. And a little boy came up to him. The boy was crying. He was upset because his dog had just died. The Pope put his hand on his shoulder and he said, "Don't worry, my son. All dogs go to heaven." That statement's really got to piss off the gays, don't you think? I mean, like, really? Really? Dogs can get into heaven? That we can't? What about gay dogs? Do they get in? Should I just lay around and lick myself 3 hours a day? Is that the criteria? Is that what you're looking for in a candidate? That's not what the Pope said, though. The Pope actually said he believes there's a place in heaven for all of God's creatures. But the media doing what they do just blew it out of proportion. Because that's what the media does. It gets us all worked up over nothing. Like, remember the Ebola virus? Yeah, the media had us all worked up. You know, every few years, a virus comes along and it threatens to wipe us all off the face of the planet. And thanks to the media, everybody freaks out about it. The truth was, only 2 people in this country died from Ebola. Just 2. And they were both unarmed black men, so they probably would have been shot by the police. Right? I mean, eventually. I mean, statistically speaking, all I'm saying is their time was probably coming to an end. They probably would have done something crazy, like 3 miles an hour over the speed limit. Reach for their registration a little too quick. Hey, you guys have been a beautiful audience. That's my time. My name is Billy Reno. Thank you.
Keep it going for Billy.